In June 2021, Swiss Convention Bureau decided to film several video inspections with me, Lesia, in the leading role. That was how I found myself in the Swiss canton of Vaud. This part of the country sank deeply into my heart, as there you can find everything that makes Switzerland so special. Blue mirror-like lakes, mountain peaks, unique museums and architecture. Within 3 days, I managed a lot, got to the altitude of 2,000 meters above sea level and Villars, and then had lunch in a fireplace in an Alpine hut, strolled along the quay of Lake Geneva in Vevey, got charged with winning spirit at the Olympic Museum in Lausanne, tasted rare white wines, and even mastered new trades, chocolatier and bartender. What had I known about Canton Vaud before? Firstly, that Lausanne is the world's Olympic capital. Here, Pierre de Coubertin revived the Olympic Games, and now it is in the seat of the International Olympic Committee. Secondly, I was eager to see with my own eyes the UNESCO World Heritage, the vine terraces stretching from Lausanne to Montreux. Thirdly, I heard that on Lake Geneva, Nikita Mikhalkov shot his film, Sunstroke, as paddleboards from the beginning of the 20th century were still running there. And I have heard Montreux Jazz Festival, which for over 50 years in July had been gathering on the lake embankment, lovers of music from jazz to funk. The easiest way to get to Vaud is from the airport of Geneva, which is a 40-minute drive from Lausanne, and 2-hour 20-minute from Villars, getting to Zurich Airport to Lausanne. The first thing we saw when entering Vaud were the vine terraces on the lake shore. As long ago as the 13th century, monks laid them out by hand from rocks, thus foredooming all subsequent generations of winemakers to manual labor. It's simply impossible here to cultivate land and pick grapes in any other way. Here there's also the three suns helping grapes to become good wine. The one shining from above, the one reflected from the lake surface, and the one preserved in the rocks from which the terraces are laid out. At Les Baronnes des Tavernier restaurant in the village of Chabret, the amiable sommelier introduced us to the local wines. But I can tell you frankly that the view from the restaurant terrace is no less inebriating than Haselas in your glass. On the partially roofed platform, you can gather up to 100 people for aperitif or buffet reception. The rest you can see for yourself. The peculiarities of the local wine were very truly described by Lionel Durand.
It's a really mineral and dry white wine, because we have a terroir with a soil, with a limestone clay soil. We are lucky, we have a very good exposition with the sun, with our star. It gives this typical dry and mineral white wine. The most popular wine in the region, it's the wine we come from the Chateau grape.
In a mood elevated by the tasting and the views, we headed for the fascinating Vevey, a pearl of Swiss Riviera. The town is cozily located between mountains and the lake. The mild climate, the calm, and the splendid sights attract more than the great and the small. Tolstoy and Tchaikovsky, Stravinsky and Wagner, Charlie Chaplin and Gogol, all of them used to like staying here. In one of Vevey's medieval streets, we dropped into a boutique of the well-known Swiss brand Laderach. For me, there were no chances to pass. The aroma of the shop window with big chocolate bars, from white to dark, with hazelnuts and dried strawberries. At the very first glance and smell, captivated my nose and paralyzed my will. In the boutique, we were met by Caroline Francois, who told us about the history of the brand.
This company was created in 1962 by the grandfather Laderach in the Swiss-German part, and it's still a very, very family company. The grandsons are owning it, and one of the three grandsons won the World Chocolate Championship in 2018. And our standard, or we have very, very high importance about which quality we provide. And the most important as well for us is the freshness of our product. For the right tasting, you need to open your senses. You first need to hear the chocolate when you crack it, and also the rule also is about melting it. Let it melt. Take your time. Be patient with the chocolate and let him talk to you.
and the rules of chocolate tasting. It didn't go without trying new skills. For the first time in my life, I created a chocolate bar with my own hands, blending the dark, the white, and the milky masses. I was adding my favorite ingredients, pistachios, strawberries, and candied nuts. We were sharing with the chocolate our impressions with Vaud, so that later on we would take them along with us. It was easy, tasty, and joyful. Of course, I felt like staying longer in the coolness of the Laderach boutique, but Montreux was awaiting us. So after express check-in at Suisse-Majestic Hotel and obtaining a transit card for local types of transport, we set off by train to Chillon Castle. One of the most visited museums of Switzerland was glorified by Byron, the famous British poet. According to the legend, Lord Byron was caught there by thunderstorm and was so impressed by the somber appearance of the walls and the history of their inmate, Angleterre and Lisson, that after returning to Hotel Angleterre, he overnight wrote the poem, The Prisoner of Chillon. That's how the castle became famous throughout the world. The prisoner was Francois Beau-Rivage, a Genevan priest, historian, and politician who was kept there in a dungeon for 6 years. In the dungeon, you can still see iron rings hanging from the pillars, covered with glass panel. There's also Byron's autograph on one of the columns. They say that Nikolai Gogol, when visiting the place, also scratched his name on the wall. Apparently, in the century before last, it was considered good manners to leave graffiti at historic spots. Anna Isanina, a guide at the castle, told us what kind of events can be arranged there.
Well, indeed, we can rent a castle for the corporate events. And there are two major rooms that you can use for your celebrations. It can have until 250 people, and with the restrictions of nowadays a little bit less. But anyway, the format and the scenario of the event has to be authorized, and we have a list of our catering services that are our colleagues since a lot of years, and they can organize everything as you would like.
From Chillon Castle, we went back to Montreux in an old-time paddle boat. From the lake, we could take a new look at the castle and the quay. The sight was unforgettable. The busy day was verging to a close, and we could finally take a good look at our grand hotel Suisse-Majestic. Built in 1870 in the Belle Époque style, it had preserved its charm. Jana Maillard, the sales manager, told us about the hotel's traditions.
So we are a very historical property. We have 150 years. We are part of Montreux. We are a small heart of the one most historical establishment of this small but also beautiful Belle Époque style city. Every day at 5 p.m. We have very special music coming out in hotel, and we have a tea time to make honor of Marcel Proust, and our chef preparing every day is a small Madeleine. So it's our small story of Marcel Proust and Madeleine time. Actually, we are open for bells, for weddings, seminar, conference, whatever you wish. So we are very flexible and welcoming with all our guests.
Watching the sunset over Lake Geneva from a suite balcony at Majestic Hotel became a superb conclusion of day one. In the morning, we made a switch of the Belle Époque to the latest achievements of science and engineering and went to inspect the cutting-edge event venue of Lausanne, the Millennium Business Center. Personal feature access, latest generation multimedia equipment, helicopter deck over the entrance. All this is just a small part of the center's possibilities. Millennium is going to boast a large 500-seater hall and 10 smaller 50-seater ones with digital displays. The opening is planned for the autumn of this year. Therefore, we could esteem the innovative ideas only from what we were told by the director, Nico Charrier.
The Millennium is unique in the world because we developed the concept for the unique glass. I mean, windows are intelligent. Glasses are connected about the position of the sun, and the glass regulates the temperature and the lighting in the building. I mean, we have to keep a special temperature in the building, and we keep to have a chill ambience in the office, in the building. The second point, we have hot water with a big pipeline, and we use this water to hot the building and to clean the toilet and everything. So it's a smart green building. It's a really place to live, to share your knowledge, and for entertainment.
As known, a good worker is a hearty eater, and not just a hearty one, but also one who does it in a fine manner. Therefore, lunch in Lausanne, we went to Chateau d'Alchi, restaurant on the quay. The place is famous for its tender meat and fresh fish cooked on a grill. The chef's secret is encoded in the restaurant's name, 57 degrees. As you may have guessed, that's the grill temperature. As a result, you have gastronomic delight, finger-licking good. Well, actually, cheesecakes aren't bad there either. Despite the gastronomic paradise, the people in Lausanne are slim and taut. After lunch, walking up through the park towards the Olympic Museum, I understood why. The city lies on hills, and you walk all the time. Walk either up or down. Generally speaking, mountaineering 365 days a year. On your way to the museum, you see interesting sculptures, a bicyclist straining himself, soccer players flexing their muscles. After the reconstruction of 2014, the museum became not just an exhibition of torches, sports equipment, and medals with autographs of great athletes, but a place where you can experience real Olympic emotions. On the top floor of the museum, there's a large terrace with a view over Lake Geneva and Huberton Banquet Hall, where events are organized. I'm sure that a citizen of any country can find a picture of his champion on one of these walls. I did find a couple of pictures of Russian Olympians. Alain Main told us about the museum and its options for organizing MICE events.
So here at the Olympic Museum, we can host different kind of events. There are rooms for conferences or meeting. We have an auditorium, for example, which can fit up to 200 person. We have also a meeting room, the Olympic room, which can fit up to 50 person. And here on this level, of course, we can host like dinners or gala evenings in different settings during the day or in the evening. If you visit the museum outside the opening hours, then it means the rule is that the museum is all for you. I mean, then you have rented it privately, and you can even visit the exhibition with you and your clients all alone, and then enjoy a really nice dinner here on the terrace or inside. So then you are, as it was, your own place.
It was a sweltering day in Lausanne. We decided to drop into Beau-Rivage Hotel, as it was time for aperitif. In Lausanne, there are over 40 hotels, but the 5-star Beau-Rivage has always been special. Its guests appreciate luxury, the view over the lake, and the Belle Époque atmosphere. At the hotel, there's several restaurants, one of which is managed by Anne-Sophie Pic, the first in the world woman chef with 3 Michelin stars. A very ornate and festive event hall is Rotunda, as we were told by the sales director, Vanessa Nadeguier-du-Calonne.
My favorite story is once we had a client who made a reservation of one of our biggest suite, executive suite, and he asked a separate connecting room with it. But for the connecting room, he asked us to take out all the furnitures and just put in the middle of the room a tree. So we were wondering why, but could not ask. When the client was checking in, he was not by his own, he was in company with a monkey. Service is very different, very high standard, but not distant. It's very personalized without being too family-wise.
The individualized approach is what customers appreciate most. At the hotel bar, I was not just offered cocktails, but was also taught how to make them. A cocktail mixing masterclass. This is something I couldn't miss. I couldn't manage to keep in mind the recipes, so there will be a good reason to come back. I just remembered that this work can be likened to an athletic discipline. As being a shaker, you can surely build up your muscles. So to the trade of chocolatier, I added that a barman shaker party maker. Now after returning to Russia, I surely won't stay unemployed. After the inspection, at Beau-Rivage, in the post-industrial quarter of Les Flons, the hotel is in funky business style, where life is in full swing nearby. Bars, restaurants, stores. The hotel has 113 space-effective rooms and a large lobby bar, which at the same time is a co-working. Director Philippe Baez told us what Moxy style is all about.
So Moxy style is like a boat, that's why I'm the captain and we have the crew. This is my staff. So Moxy is really urban style, but we also adapt to the city. Like here in Lausanne, you can see that we have some graph regarding sport, as Lausanne is the Olympic capital. We also personalize the room with what we call hook. So if we have something to celebrate, like wedding anniversary or anything else, we wrote on the mirror, we post special message and also special present. We like to make fun. Moxy styles is not what we are used with hotel industry. You have to see that this is a bar with some rooms, because normally an hotel is rooms with a bar.
Looking at the crowd at the bar, you start understanding that social democratic targeting is not to suit for it. Here you see both families and businessmen, youth and seniors, all those who are quick on the trigger and appreciate socializing. We spent the evening of our second day in Lausanne, where I had the tastiest in my life French escargot and tartar. Brasserie de Montbienon is all about eating and being social. The open space was humming like a hive where bees that had flown together for a feast were discussing the events of the day. For those who like seclusion, there is the second floor, or an open terrace with a fountain in Italian style. No way to think of a better place for a gala dinner. On our third day in Vaud, the Alps were awaiting us. From the village of Villars, we went up on a train to Bretagne, which is the starting point of the mountain hiking trails. We felt like the altitude of Bretagne was enough for us and took the chairlift which tossed us to Les Grands Chamoisards, 2,112 meters. That's where hiking looks really dramatic. During the short walk on the ridge, we saw a herd of mountain goats. We would have paced on, but for a hailstorm, we had to promptly go back to Bretagne and set off on an easier route to Lake Chavassum, where lunch was awaiting for us. I'd seen a lot of mountains, moreover, had grown up among volcanoes and peaks, but I encountered such magic beauty just here in Villars. Needless to say that after the walk in the mountains, in the open air, we had a hearty appetite. While our things were drying at the fireplace, we were free and easy discussing over a glass of red wine and traditional dishes, the abundance of opportunities for tourism in Switzerland. Vlad Kateev told us that one can keep himself busy within the mountains over Villars.
Here it's a completely different spirit. Just look at this. It's nice, it's a nature, it's a pure nature. And you can hike here, you can bike, you can just relax and just to appreciate the pure nature. So about hiking, you have all levels of hiking here in Villars because it's not very high like Zermatt, for example. You can bike here, you can paragliding, you can jumping, you can fishing. What is very interesting here, it's because you have some passes, interesting passes. It's a Col de la Croix, Pass de la Croix. It's a Pass du Pillon. It's near the Diableret. You can go by bike from the Villars to Diableret, then to Col du Pillon, to do the Via Ferrata, of course. It's, I think, our favorite and fancy thing here.
The gods of the mountains considered that we deserved some sunbeams, and we were returning to Bretagne in a fine mood. After getting back from the train to Villars, we dropped into Chalet Royalp, the best hotel at the resort. It was like in a movie about a vacation in the Alps, where people in white sweaters drink mulled wines by the fireside, while fluffy snow is falling outside the window. The hotel sales director, Levante Georgi, agreed with me.
Since we are a ski resort, our high season is mainly the winter season. So basically from December to March. But when it's really the highest is the February ski holidays. We do have a special partnership with the ski lift company here in Villars. So we can print your ski passes here directly at the hotel. We are a ski-to-door property, so the ski lift is the ski train actually which takes you up to the ski lifts is about 20 meters from the hotel. We also have a preferred partnership with the main ski rental companies or ski rental shops in Villars. So everything is there for you. You don't have to worry about anything.
In the evening, we checked in Villars Alpine Lodge, the hotel with 55 rooms opened last season and is geared towards economical and supportive public. Repair of Villars Palace, 95 suites, is in full swing right next. The latter being poised to receive guests already in December 2022. Both buildings look like an alpine chalet, a lot of natural materials, wood, stone. 3 days in Vaud means a visit to the Belle Époque in Montreux, the Olympic spirit of Lausanne, and of course the grandeur of the mountains in Villars. Returning here is a must if you want to wrap up an incentive program, a maximum of various impressions.
You need wine, you need Vaud.
You need a chocolate experience. You need Vaud.
You need Belle Époque, you need Vaud.
You need medieval spirit, you need Vaud.
You need innovation, you need Vaud.
You need Olympic spirit, you need Vaud.
You need excellent hospitality, you need Vaud.
You need funky stay, you need Vaud.
You need serenity, you need Vaud.
You need pure nature, you need Vaud.